It's incredible to realize this. At any moment, you are just one decision away from a completely different life. One decision away from shifting direction, from stepping into a new chapter filled with fresh experiences, new beliefs, a renewed sense of identity. Just one choice can rewire your entire future. Think about that. All the days, habits, and identities you've built up until now, they can be released, rewritten, even replaced. In an instant. The weight of who you used to be doesn't have to define who you'll become. And yet, we often live stuck between two illusions, the past and the future. The past, although it's no longer real, still shapes how we see ourselves. It whispers old stories into our ears and convinces us that we're still that person we were yesterday. It's like that elephant tied to a small stake. It doesn't even try to break free, not realizing it's strong enough to do so. The rope isn't holding it back. Belief is. That's how identity works. We accept outdated versions of ourselves as truth. We're not that person anymore. But we keep acting like we are. You say, "I'm not a morning person." Maybe you weren't. But why carry that label forward? People walk all over me. Maybe they did once, but do they still have to? I'm shy. I'm not creative. I'm not good with words. These are stories you've told yourself, not unchangeable facts. You have the ability to rewrite those stories at any time. Right now. That's the real power. Knowing your past doesn't get to dictate your future unless you let it. Imagine judging today by yesterday's weather. Keeping your umbrella open just because it rained once. It's absurd, right? But we do that with ourselves all the time. We stay stuck because we don't stop to question the story. If you can shift your focus from who you've been to who you want to be, everything changes. Make small, meaningful adjustments. Read books like Atomic Habits or The Power of Habit to understand the science behind how change works, how small tweaks can create big results. Start thinking in terms of possibility, not limitation, of opportunity, not fear. When you wake up, ask yourself, what can go right today, rather than focusing on what might go wrong. And the next time you feel lost, discouraged, angry, or unsure, don't let that feeling convince you that you're stuck. You're only stuck if you stay. That discomfort? It's not a reflection of what you can't do. It's a sign that you're clinging to who you were instead of stepping into who you can become. So let this be your reminder. You are always just one decision away from a totally different life. One choice, one step, one shift in direction. When life feels heavy, when you don't like what you see in the mirror, when you feel disconnected or restless, remember that your power lies not in yesterday, but in what you decide to do next. Choose the future. Choose your next move. Choose the life you want to build. And then, start building it. There was a moment in my life a few years back that changed everything. A realization that felt like a quiet revolution inside me. I've spoken about it with close friends, family, even colleagues and clients. And what's interesting is, most people seem to experience this at some point. The timing is different, the circumstances vary, but the shift is universal. The moment we wake up to the fact that we have far more control over our lives than we ever thought. That's the turning point. That's when you stop feeling like a passenger and realize you've been holding the keys all along. You've had the power to unlock that door, step outside, and start truly living. Yes, life comes with responsibilities. There are sacrifices to make. But that awareness of your own power forces you to confront bigger questions. What am I sacrificing for? Where is this all going? Are the people in my life building me up or pulling me down? Are the things I'm doing helping me grow? And maybe most importantly, am I living a life that's actually mine? Because here's the hard truth. Time doesn't slow down for anyone. The weeks, months, years, they fly. You blink and a decade is gone. And worse, none of it is promised. The clock is ticking whether you notice or not. And if you don't take a step back and really look at how you're spending your days, you'll end up stuck in autopilot. You'll keep moving, but not forward. No one's going to shake you by the shoulders and say, "Hey, you're not really living." That responsibility is yours. The world is full of tools, resources, knowledge, opportunities. But tools are only useful if someone is willing to pick them up and build. You are the architect. You are the builder. But you have to see what doesn't exist yet and decide to make it real. So maybe now is the time to pause and ask yourself, what am I building? Where is this path leading? And when I get up in the morning and step out the door, what am I really moving toward? Maybe today's the day you realize there are parts of your life that no longer serve you. People who drain your energy, routines that hold you back, places you keep going simply out of habit. Maybe you've been living on repeat, but you don't have to anymore. If you're not fulfilled, not excited, not aligned, then do something about it. There's no rule saying you can't make a change. The idea that your life is fixed or locked in place, that's fiction. It's just another story you've been telling yourself. Let go of that narrative. See your life not as it's been, but as it could be. Imagine what it would look like to write a new chapter, one that brings you energy, meaning, direction. And know this, no one's going to hand that life to you. No one's going to call you out for settling. That awareness, that drive to evolve, it has to come from within. So ask the questions you've been avoiding. Be honest with yourself. Let today be the beginning of something different. A new story. One that you own from start to finish. Because you can change your life, and it starts the moment you decide to. In the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, John Maxwell redefines a common saying. Instead of, "If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen," he argues it should be, "If you can't create the heat, get out of the kitchen." This shift in perspective is powerful because it reminds us that we're not passive observers in our own lives. We're the ones who generate energy, drive, and momentum. Too often, we react to circumstances as if we have no control, forgetting that we can turn up the intensity or dial it back as needed. We're not just characters in someone else's story. We're the authors of our own. One of the most transformative realizations I've had is this: I don't have to accept things I don't want. It sounds obvious, but looking back, I see how many years I spent tolerating situations simply because I never questioned them. I never asked, "Why am I putting up with this?" Or, "What can I do to change it?" A simple exercise helped me break free. I made a 2-column list. On the left, I wrote everything that frustrated me or felt missing in my life. On the right, I outlined actionable steps to address each one. Just putting it on paper shifted my mindset. I went from feeling stuck to feeling in control. The danger isn't just inaction, it's adapting to a life that doesn't fulfill us. Humans are incredible at adjusting to discomfort, but that adaptability can backfire if we normalize mediocrity. Momentum doesn't happen by accident, it's something we create. There's a famous story about circus elephants tied to small stakes with thin ropes. As babies, they couldn't break free, so as adults, despite their strength, they don't even try. The real chains aren't the ropes, they're the belief that escape is impossible. We're like those elephants. The limitations we accept, "I'm not a morning person," "I'm bad at public speaking," "I'll never be disciplined," are often illusions. The moment we question them, we realize how much power we've always had. Recently, I caught myself in a rut. Too much time had passed without progress, so I asked, who am I connecting with? What risks am I taking? Where am I pushing my limits? The answers revealed opportunities I'd overlooked. Small actions, sending that email, starting that project, having that tough conversation, created momentum. Suddenly, I wasn't waiting for change. I was creating it. Perfection is a myth. Momentum isn't about waiting for the right time. It's about starting now, even if the first steps are messy. Every decision, no matter how small, is a chance to steer your life in a new direction. Time passes regardless. The question is, will you let it slip by, or will you harness it? The difference between stagnation and growth isn't luck or talent. It's the courage to act, to leave behind what no longer serves you, to trade temporary discomfort for lasting fulfillment. You are the architect of your life. Every email, every conversation, every choice is a brick in the foundation of your future. Momentum builds when you decide it should. So stop watching from the sidelines. Step into the arena. Turn up the heat. The door is open. Walk through it. That lonely midnight drive, nothing but headlights cutting through the darkness, an endless road ahead. That's where I learned the weight of hard choices. The rearview mirror held my past, but the open highway taught me. Growth demands decisive turns. When those I trusted let me down, I discovered what loyalty truly means. Not blind faith, but showing up consistently for the people who matter. Disappointment became my teacher, revealing who deserved my energy and who didn't. Failure, stress, uncertainty. They felt like endings, but they were really beginnings in disguise. Each stumble taught me resilience. The fear of falling fades when you realize you've survived every crash. You don't just recover, you return wiser, tougher. Heartbreak and loss have a way of sharpening your vision. They force you to see the fleeting beauty in ordinary moments, the way sunlight hits a coffee cup, the sound of a loved one's laugh. Pain reminds you, nothing is promised. But that awareness, it's a gift. It makes you present. Arguments and clashes used to drain me. Then I learned most battles aren't worth fighting. Everyone's perspective is shaped by invisible forces, their history, their wounds. A little empathy bridges gaps. A moment of listening can disarm a lifetime of tension. There were times I felt invisible, like my voice didn't matter. But being underestimated taught me real leadership isn't about authority. It's about lifting others up. A shared vision is stronger than any solo effort. Life isn't just happening to you, it's speaking to you. The struggles, they're lessons in disguise. The universe isn't working against you. It's conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't feel that way. Every low prepares you for a higher climb. Every mistake lays groundwork for future triumphs. The classroom never closes. The next chapter? It's yours to write. Playing it safe costs you your potential. If you're unwilling to face failure, you'll never stand out. If you can't handle laughter, you'll never hear applause. Every meaningful opportunity requires trading certainty for possibility. That uncomfortable leap into the unknown? That's where your future success is hiding. Yes, vulnerability hurts. It should. That discomfort is the price of admission to everything worthwhile. The chasm between your current reality and your dreams. The obstacle course separating who you are from who you could become. Vulnerability shifts your focus from potential disasters to potential victories. Every important choice cuts both ways. Release your music and risk rejection, or never share your gift with the world. Walk into the gym awkwardly, or miss becoming your strongest self. Go for that promotion and face possible rejection, or remain stuck in mediocrity. This is the paradox of growth. What terrifies us is exactly what would transform us. People avoid risks because they conflict with our primal need to belong, to be accepted, to look cool. But here's the truth. Chasing coolness is a fast track to average. Greatness belongs to those willing to be the odd one out. Embrace being misunderstood. Fail publicly and try again. Look foolish in the beginning. Safety is seductive, but stagnant. That comfortable chair at the base of the mountain, it comes with a perfect view of what you could have achieved. As you climb, perspective shifts. What once seemed crucial, others' opinions, perfect appearances, reveals itself as trivial. Each risk taken makes the next one easier. Each failure teaches what no success ever could. In the end, your stumbles won't define you. Haters' voices will fade. But inaction? That's the only true failure. The path won't be smooth. There are no guarantees. But I can promise this. Every step forward makes you stronger. Every attempt teaches you something. And the version of you on the other side of fear? That person is worth every uncomfortable moment. So have faith in yourself, in the process. Your magic isn't in playing it safe. It's in that bold, vulnerable leap only you can take. Now go take it. If you have made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments. It shows you are part of the 1% that's improving every single day.